Good. Nice to see most of you.
Shall I start, sir?
Yeah, Ma, you can start. I am there. Yeah.
Once again, good afternoon, all the participants. I am IR Kalyani, research scholar from Department of Business Management, NGU. Let's begin session 2 with introduction of the resource person, Dr. Chetan Srivastava, Associate Professor, School of Management Studies.
Maybe louder. Voice is low.
Now, sir, am I audible,
Yeah.
sir?
Fine. Yeah.
So today's resource person is Dr. Chetan Srivastava, Associate Professor, School of Management Studies, University of Hyderabad. Awaiting to be professor since 2016. He is the youngest PhD holder in Faculty of Management, Usmania University. He has relinquished his role as proctor and co-chair, Placement Guidance and Advisory Bureau, University of Hyderabad. He is also the coordinator, postgraduate diploma in Energy Management. He is an executive editor, Journal of Advances in Management Sciences and Information Systems, Canada. He is on the editorial board for quite a few international and national journals like eBusiness Review, Film Quest, Business Vision, ICFI Journal of Soft Skills, Sumida Journal of Management, etc. He has done pre-release review of the South Asian edition of the famous book by Professor Philip Kotler, Father of Marketing, published by Pearson Publication, and also a book on supply chain management authored by Professor Janet Shah, Professor IIM Bangalore. He authored few best-selling books which are a part of standard curriculum of varied courses like MBA, MCA, BE, BTech, MSc, MCom, BSc, BCom, BCA, etc. in varied universities across the country. He writes a column on business quiz for the monthly newsletter The Management Review of Hyderabad Management Association, HMA, a premier association of management professionals since 1964. He is a recipient of many prestigious awards, MTC Global Outstanding Management Teacher Award 2019 by Management Teachers Consortium, AIMS ICFI Best Teacher Award by Association of Indian Management Schools, Academy of Global Business Advancements, coveted American Honor 2019 AGBA Distinguished Global Scholar, Best Professor in Marketing by ICBM, SBE and Academy of Management, Icon Dronacharya of the Year 2018 by International Knowledge and Opportunities Network, distinguished alumni by Badruka Group of Institutions, etc., to name a few. Dr. Chetan, a teacher by choice, trainer, researcher, and consultant, specializes in strategic marketing, CRM, services marketing, advertising, and branding, apart from HRD and systems-related issues. He is a member of many academic advisory boards, BOS, subject expert panels, etc. Widely traveled world across, he has vast experience of over 2 decades in academics and industry in varied capacities in training, research, and consulting. He has, to his credit, about 40 plus papers and articles published in leading national and international journals. Dr. Chetan is one of the much sought after speaker to be a keynote speaker, team speaker, session chair, chief guest, guest of honor, invited speaker, panelist, key resource person, judge, etc. for international and national conferences, seminars, induction programs, annual day functions, award ceremonies, MDPs, FDPs, etc. by many universities, institutions, and organizations across the nation and abroad, and also by varied TV channels for television talks, live debates on contemporary issues, etc. I'm privileged to welcome you to the session, sir.
Thank you, Ma. Thanks a lot, Dr. Kalyani, madam. No, I should say that this has been a wonderful day to go, and as I put in chat window, I wish all of you to put on your screens. I'm sure that my request for you to open your camera doesn't put you under stress. Is it putting you under stress?
No, sir.
So good morning, Dr. Kitayaji, and all of you here, all my Venkatraman Garu and all my friends here, and all the teachers. I'm sure that it's a request to see you all, because that makes it more interesting. That makes it more stress-free. Actually, the first stress what we have here is in this current pandemic is talking to computers, not to people. That's the one which actually goes in. When we take a session, when we are doing it, I am sure that all of you might have been taking your online classes, online things to go. And the big stress is, not seeing people, not interacting with them, confined into your rooms and all to go in. So I wish, let us de-stress ourselves and have a face-to-face conversation, face-to-face interaction. So that is one thing which actually would make it more easy to go. And now you had a wonderful session, I believe, in the morning hour with the yoga and the meditation and all to go. And I'm sure that you're all refreshed. Let me take a further leap into it to go when we are trying to talk about how do we be emotionally intelligent and how to manage our stress, because that's something which has been a biggest factor. I'll tell you, other day, I really had it last week. I had a big shot of my BP. Suddenly, I am non-BP patient, and suddenly all of us, I was working on my system. All of a sudden, I was finding it a severe headache and severe kind of thing. And I immediately checked my BP. It was terribly high. So I immediately took some medicine, went to hospital, to get all the tests done. Everything was done. And last 1 week, I've been going through so many tests, and all the tests have come normal. Then doctor says, well, we are thanking God for that, but doctor says, Chetan, it is the stress. Oh my God. I teach people how to manage stress, and I am the victim of the stress. How do we go in? Oh, that's a big thing to go. When you talk about to go in, the stress which is, actually putting me in such tough times is basically, I lost my father a few months back, and I'm yet to accept it and come forward. That's only stress. Rest of it, I can handle it well. That's the only thing I know that I can't handle it because I can't get it back to go in. So leaving that aside, fine. That worked on, and somehow I've been doing my things well. So when this session was on, I think I should be doing, because I do a lot of stress management programs across the country and all to go in. So will we move ahead with this to go and so let me thank all the COVID warriors. Though we say the third wave is not there and things are not there, and still, across the world, people have been working hard. And all the teachers, all the kind of thing. We are also COVID warriors. I don't know how many of you consider yourself, but we are also one. We have been putting things across to go. And thank you one and all who have been doing wonderful job for us. Now, a disclaimer which I usually do, and now I'm a bit faster, but once we get into the program, I think it will be slow. So it's like, when disclaimers are all run, they do it. Mutual funds are subject to market risk. That goes on very fast. So similarly, kind of thing, a disclaimer here. Whenever whatever I'm taking here is an part of my academic pursuit and nothing to do to hurt anybody's sentiment, feeling, and all to go on. Absolutely unintentionally, if I'm hurting somebody, it's something to go. And I thank all the copyright owners of the materials, because I will be using some photographs and the quotations and all. Some of them are cited, some of them are not cited. So I thank all of them. It's only for pure academic purpose. Let us move ahead now. So most of us have come across the following moments. Think once, oh God, I should not have done this. I should not have reacted this way. I should not have said this. I should not have so and so. I wish I could undo this. I'm sure most of us have gone through these kind of moments in our life. Yes, no. You can say, or you can raise your hands as your choice.
Yes, sir.
Sure. All of us. Because at some point or the other time to go in, we all have this kind of thing to go in. Then we say, oh God, we should not have done this. I mean, what does it mean? Why do we get that feeling? Why do we get that feel? We don't get the feel when we are doing it. We get it post that. Maybe it's fraction of second. You shout at somebody, and suddenly you realize, oh God, I should not have shouted at him. Had this thought come to you a minute before, things would have been different. Don't you all think so? If you get a thing to go in a minute before, and you get that, yes, I should not do this, then things would have been surely different. That's what it is a thing to go in. But unfortunately, we are all emotional beings. Oh, that's something which has been the toughest part to go in. Human beings, right? We say humans are full of emotions. And if I say don't have emotions, it's like asking you to be a stone. Oh, that's not fair. No, well, we have those emotions, we have to live with those emotions, and how do we do it? But how do we come across all of these kind of emotions and still manage them, manage to have a smile on the face, manage to do this particular thing to go in? So when you have this kind of thing to go, when we are basically into the kind of thing, I should not have done this, you know, that's an afterthought. When you have an afterthought, what does it make a difference? The damage has been done. Not only to you, but also to, I'll tell you one story. In a village, one gentleman is always having some kind of thing to go in, where he talks something about somebody to go in and leave it. So that this particular gentleman one day spoke about a person very bad, and he said this guy is dishonest, this is there and all, and the word spread like anything. Okay, then uh, this person who was other party, people started ignoring him, getting into the problems, on and so forth. So this gentleman went to, finally he was absolutely social boycott kind of thing. He was unable to handle things just because of the person said something which is not right. So he went to the village chief and tell him that this is a person who has been spreading rumor about me, said this kind of thing to go. What to do? So then the village head calls this gentleman who has been saying this, who said once. He said, "Why did you do this?" He said, "No, no, no. I just as an passing remark, I said something, and then it's only just a kind of after saying nothing. I didn't say do anything after that." So he said, "Okay, I have to pass a judgment." So what he does is, he asks him to write this particular thing on the paper and say that, you go on the way. What do you do is you tear these pages into paper pieces and throw it off on the road and go back to your home. So the gentleman, tomorrow come back and I'll give you the judgment. So next day this guy does that, and next day they come back to the chief. Then the chief says, please go and collect all those papers and come back. He says, how do you do it? How is it possible? I tore them into pieces. I told by you, I put it on the street. The air would have carried it away. Things would have been gone. I cannot collect it back. It is impossible. So the same thing happens when you do this to others. Because for you it may be a play, just a time pass. But once that spreads, you cannot take it back. That's how it happens in our emotions also. When we react, when we do this kind of thing, we don't actually think about it and say that how did it go and what happened to go, and we cannot undo that. When we cannot undo that kind of thing, it becomes very tough, and that has a counter kind of thing to go on. So when you have that counter to go in, so when that particular counter goes in, how do you handle, how do you do it? Because that's kind of thing which actually makes it very tough, because counting your emotions which have been bad, or with the actions which have been there, undoing them is not possible. You still have that thing to go in. So when you are going to have this kind of when you have this kind of thing to go, and you have to be very careful about them. That is what is all about emotions and all about thing to go on. So Mahatma Gandhi said, because MG University, I thought I should get something from him to go, and I usually do that. So I said, emotional strength, as we call it as inner strength, makes it stronger and better. So when you talk about it, how strong you are in emotions actually make it so very tough. It's your inner strength. That is something which is very, very still. Are you emotionally stable? That is something which actually works on to go in, because that is the biggest strength what you have. It's not the physical strength. It is not the thing to go in. It is the inner strength, because the will power, the inner power will actually make you win. That's the only thing to go in. While dealing with people, remember, the Dale Carnegie is an author. When he talks about it, when dealing with people, remember, you are not dealing with the creatures of logic. You are dealing with creatures of emotion, because we are all at one point of time emotional beings. So when you talk about this to go, and I hope I'm audible. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Fine. So Well, you talk about this to go in, you have that emotional strength and thing to go in, and we are dealing with emotional people. So when you're dealing with emotional, you have to be different to go in and go across. How do we define our emotional intelligence? We have been talking so much about IQs. When we were there, we talk about what is your IQ, and all the entire world relies on the IQ to go in. So when we talk about we are working on IQ, then we moved on to EQs kind of thing, emotional quotient. So we define emotional intelligence as subset of social intelligence. That's something which is a thing to go, and that involves the ability to monitor one's own and others' feeling and emotions. So that's very, very difficult. You're just not monitoring your own feelings and emotions, it's also monitoring others' feelings and emotions, and to discriminate among them, and to use this information so as to guide us into thinking and our own actions. So when you talk about that, when do we do that? Do we get into the understanding our emotions, our feelings, and also the emotions and feelings of others? So once you put yourself into that kind of thing, and all your actions are based on this, I think things would change. That's what is your all emotional intelligence about. It is very important to understand that emotional intelligence is not the opposite of intelligence. You know, it is not the triumph of heart over head. When I say emotions, we say heart, dil ki baat. Hamesha dil ki suno. That's what we say. But is it the kind of thing which actually goes in triumph of heart over head? No, it is not. So it is basically intersection of head and heart. So brain and heart together make you emotionally intelligent. It is emotions from heart, intelligence from brain together make you you know thing to go in. We say bhavnatmak paripakvata. I mean, that's in Hindi. So it talks about emotional, intelligence, emotional understanding. It is the, friendship between heart and mind. How many of us have this friendship? We have friends with others, right? We have so many close friends. Is your heart a close friend of your mind? Raise your hands. Don't ask me how do you do it.
No, sir, they always go in the opposite direction.
That is what is emotional intelligence. How do you make these opposite directions come together? That is what it is. Connecting your heart and the brain. Even in the brain, there's a right brain, there's a left brain.
Yes, sir.
We need to connect that also, right? So we
Yes.
need to connect that,
Proper
and
coordination.
yeah, and also connect your heart. Once you establish this connection, you're able to see this connection between heart and the brain. You automatically become emotionally intelligent, and it is very difficult. I
Yes.
know it is difficult, but not tough. I mean, you can always do it. So it only requires a heart and a brain to do it. Oh, that's something which I have to be telling you to go. And so when you talk about this to go, when you are trying to do this, how do you talk about the controls? You should become friends, because we have that old technique. When your heart says something, listen to your heart and listen to your brain and find a mid path. Now that's very vital. When you give some time, so when emotions run your mind, when emotions move into your heart, you give some time, a small time before the brain directs the heart what to do. What happens is biologically also we have a part called amygdala in our brain. So while the signal transfers before that gives instructions, actually that's a link. So when you talk about before the amygdala works, your signal starts working. So that delay, give that delay before your brain instructs your other heart to do or take an action. That delay has to happen so that you become mentally tough. Mentally tough doesn't mean you are stone-hearted. Please remember that. I don't say you should be a stone-hearted. After all, we're human beings. You should be soft at heart. That's like, it's a coconut. Tough outside, soft inside. Fluid absolutely within. So that kind of thing you need to talk about it to go on and work across. So when you talk about IQ's analysis, know-how, technology, expertise, concept, design, critical thinking, patterns, logics, all become a part of your IQ. Whereas your EQ would be empathy, you know, motivation, self-reflection, managing relationships, social awareness, and self-control. So once we have this IQ and EQ small link, that link will take it, the best of your thing to go. And I hope I'm making some sense here. You're able to follow?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yeah. So this is what our world is. The world sees our IQ, tip of an iceberg. A world sees your IQ, whereas EQ is a bigger component. That's a very, very powerful thing. EQ is hidden, EQ is within. IQ is outside and EQ is inside, and inside is more powerful, more bigger strength to go. And how strong you are, how emotionally stable you are, how emotional quotient do you have to go. That works across IQ and EQ is an important thing which actually goes on. In real sense, it's very beautiful. Daniel Coleman is the one who has actually popularized the concept of emotional intelligence. So, in a very real sense, we have two minds. One mind which thinks, one mind that feels. Don't we all have this?
All is true.
Yes, we have. Sharad, we have,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So, and we say the mind which feels is the heart. Hannah. So
yes,
that actually goes in. So when you talk about a real sense, when you have two minds, we need to connect each of them. We are looking for managers that demonstrate high level of emotional intelligence. You know, Here, please try this mood rings. So when you talk about this, do we have something to control our mood rings? We wear so many rings to go and to have a lot of impacts to go in. But when you talk about something called controlling our emotions, do we have something to have a tab on it? No, it's not possible. No, nothing to do with our moods. But it is something, in spite of so much of research, in spite of so much of things into it, still we are yet to understand human emotions, how one behaves, how one goes. And there were a lot of theories, but practically speaking, things doesn't go that way, how you say. And so that actually works. You know, we value emotional intelligence over regular and old intelligence. So old intelligence is all about IQs. So there's some hope for you. So remember, when you talk about when as we grow older, we grow emotionally intelligent, most of us. We say maturity. The maturity, what is maturity? It's all about how do you handle things, how do you look at the world, the perspective changes, the way you have to do. And because at one point of time in think nothing matters for you, but do you know that this world is this, and finally you come to a realization that nothing matters. That makes you very strong, that makes you very intelligent, that makes you emotionally stable, and that works on to go. So when you talk about things to go and that's something which actually goes. And when you are trying to talk, if everyone is gonna be without emotions to go, you are going to be in trouble. So that's what it goes in. Right from the cave, when we had to start controlling our emotions, it's just not controlling, regulating our emotions, so that you are strong internally and externally also. So very beautifully said by Amit. As we move, as more and more artificial intelligence is entering into this world, you know, more and more emotional intelligence must enter into leadership. Well, you talk about this to go and, as the artificial intelligence is getting into the world, replacing natural intelligence to go and in most of the times to go, we talk about emotional intelligence, which must enter into leadership or humans, which actually would make all the difference. Somebody was asking me, with such an development in artificial intelligence technology, what will happen to humans? I said nothing will happen because they are still required for being emotions. How much you do, and still it's a human mind which is more powerful, more thing to go on, and the heart which actually says. The only way to change someone's mind is to connect with them from the heart. Very beautifully said. Dil ka connection. That's something which is very, very important. When you talk about when if you want to change somebody's mind, how can you change? You can't do an influence. How it goes and what happened to Samrat Ashoka after the war of Kalinga? God, he changed from his heart. That what happened to Alexander after the war when he was sick? He became emotionally intelligent. He said, "Yeah, come on, whole world I have conquered. What's the use?" He wanted to pass on the intelligence to people, saying that no, it's not useful. The world is small. The world is temporary. That kind of thing to go on. So, if you want to have an impact on somebody's mind, you should connect with the heart. When you connect with your heart, you always have a feeling of love, feeling of affection, and that would have an impact on the mind, and people change when they get connected through hearts. That is vital. We say connecting people. Nokia says connecting people, but are we connecting people? We are connecting people's communication, but not to the heart. Today's world, we have so much of connection, so much of networks. We say social networking, we say everything, but are we really connected? A big question. Absolutely not. So we are not connected because now it's all about connections, not from the heart. That's important. While you have connections with your childhood buddies, we say chuddy buddies, right? That is basically because they are connected with heart. Irrespective of anything to go on, you have that connection. So remember, the only way to change somebody's heart is to get connected with mind. You know, the Goldman says mindful meditation. You had it in the morning. Mindful meditation has been discovered to foster ability to inhibit those very quick emotional impulses. Now I've been doing it, and now I practice that meditation, calm down your mind. That's very vital. When you talk about your mind, it is the most vibrant thing. Then you calm down. That's what it goes. And so you had your yoga in the morning. How many of you did yoga in the morning?
All of you.
All of
All
them,
of
all
the
of them. Good.
सभी ने किया
So, yes. So when you did that yoga in the morning, you would have discovered that how can I control my emotions, emotional impulses. Not one day, it's not possible. Keep doing it. I think you should be able to do that to go in. And look at that. It's a matter of choice. No matter how frustrating, boring, or constraining, or painful, or oppressive experience we have with anybody across, we can always choose how are we responding. It's all your response. Hope when that particular thing which actually goes, and when you are choosing what would be your response, that is very important to go in. So when you talk about this, how do I respond? How do you do? And if somebody shouts at you, how do you respond? If somebody does and it goes across. So I'll tell you what happened is one day one person was floating on very very calm waters in a boat, and so suddenly one empty boat comes and hits his boat, and this guy gets disturbed and starts shouting. But when he sees that other boat, it is only empty, nothing is there. So he feels that I have reacted wrongly. So when you talk about that kind of thing to go in, when we have a disturbance, it goes. And so remember, in spite of all that, how do you react makes all difference to go. And emotional intelligence at workplace, this is very difficult. Major part of our active day is spent at work. Home, yes, it works, but when you talk about the workplace, it is more difficult because at least at home you have some connections with heart. So when you talk about to go on, emotional intelligence workplace actually matters a lot. That's the reason why today people are looking into that to go in and work across, because emotional intelligence at work, talks about increased team performance, So when you talk about that to go on, when you are looking at an increased team performance, increased leadership abilities, increased improved decision making, decreased occupational stress, and reduced staff turnover, and end of the day, increased personal well-being. That is very vital because end of the day, it's we have to be well to do and move across. Emotional intelligence can be the game changer. That is important. When you talk about it changes the game, and to high performance and personal leadership. All the leaders of the world today who have been successful are emotionally strong, emotionally stable. Things to go on. IQ gets you hard. The lighter wing. IQ gets you hard. EQ gets you promoted. I mean, EQ will make you work in a good to go. And EQ is emotional quotient here. So when you talk about the emotional thing to go on, perceived emotions, using your emotions, managing your emotions, understanding emotions make a huge impact and things to go. So, according to Dale Carnegie, Goleman, one who was the one popularizing the emotional intelligence, the five key elements to an emotional intelligence. One, self-awareness. First question is, we know everything about the world, we know everything about others. Do we know ourselves? Is a big question. How many of us know ourselves well?
Very difficult to know ourselves, sir.
That is where the whole thing goes in. When you don't know yourself, what's the point in knowing others? Oh, that's a big question. So self-awareness is the most important. What do you want? What is your aspiration? What makes you happy? What is that you want to achieve? What is that you want to do? And do you spend time with yourself?
Yes,
Uh,
yes. I spend time with myself.
because that's the most beautiful person whom you can spend time with. Is it not? Yourself. So when you spend time with yourself, you become self-aware. You start doing that. It's very difficult. I mean, everything goes, and how do you get yourself self-aware? Look at what you want, what matters for you, and every one of us are unique. God made us all unique, and each of us have a different level to go in, different kind of thing to go in. Self-awareness is the first key to emotional intelligence. Second part is self-regulation. We want to regulate everybody's emotion. We want to regulate our control on everybody, but we fail to have control on self. That's an important. That's the reason when we started our session, we said we always think, do we say that, oh God, I should not have done this, because your self-regulation doesn't happen. So that kind of self-regulation moves in and works across. The motivation. Do we require something to motivate us? Is a big question. Do you want a reward, award, recognition to motivate you? Or we are self-motivated? No, I always believe that why the hell somebody should come and motivate you? Because people here are not to motivate you. Okay,
Yes,
you
you're
know.
right, sir.
So you should be self-motivated, because if you go by people, it becomes very difficult. The other day, I just posted a video on a group. Somebody said it was on recognition, rewards, and awards. So somebody asked me, sir, you put a good video, but how about government, the rewards, recognitions, and all? I said, you are asking me a wrong question, because when you ask me a question, I'll answer you correctly. And when I say truth, it may pain a lot for people. But I told them that it happens. It's not easy to get motivation, because people are there to absolutely demotivate at many a times. So it should come in. Empathy. How many times people may show you sympathy, but not empathy. None of us want sympathy, right? We want empathy. Somebody should understand. Always, yeah, you don't know me. Because you cannot think it's my journey. What do you know about my journey? It's very difficult until I get into your shoes. Until I do and empathize with your situation, things won't be different. When you are emotional intelligent, you empathize with the others to go in. And when you talk about it to go, when you are looking in the social skills, these five components, key elements make up your emotional intelligence. Start working onto them. First, know yourself. Vital, that's vital. Very important. Know instead of knowing others, know yourself. Once you know yourself, the whole world looks stupid. I'll tell you fact. You know, once you know that, that goes in. Have a self-regulation. Attendance. Oh God. People are worried about attendance. Oh, that is something which is very difficult. So when you talk about this to go on self-awareness, motivation, empathy, social skills, which actually goes on, because personality plus emotional intelligence results in performance. The introspection should happen. Your personality, how strong you are emotional, and that will work on your performance to go on. Now, what role does emotional intelligence play in workplace? As you have seen that, we are worried about it also. Emotions, behavior, work, interpersonal, intrapersonal. So when you are trying to have this kind of thing to go on, you have self-awareness and social awareness. Interpersonal talks about social awareness. Behaviors is self-management. Interpersonal is relationship management. Work, self-performance, people performance. So this is what actually goes on. And obviously the cognitive conflicts arise. We're going to see that how do you handle that conflicts. That's where the whole emotions come in. That's where the whole emotional intelligence comes in, and where you are working with heart and the mind together. So when you're trying to have this kind of the situations where your emotions are regulated, you are aware of things, you are aware of what's happening around, and things to go, and things would change, and your behaviors would matter to go. And so to be emotional intelligence, it means to understand the powerful emotions of yours. That's very vital for your emotions and others, and handle it properly. This way becomes the whole toughest nut. Handling them properly is the biggest problem. How do you do that? No, that is what an emotional intelligent person does. Your emotions, others' emotions, handle them properly, as so that the results are beautiful and happy about to go. And between the stimulus and response, there is a space. That's what I was trying to talk about. That space lies our freedom and power to choose our response. Give that time. We said time. Give that time between your stimulus and response. Once you give that time between stimulus and response, lies your freedom and power to choose the response. In our response lies our growth and freedom. How do you respond? Are you spontaneous, or are you thinking and responding? Give a second. Give a second, you'll surely respond it well, because that's where you control your emotions. We had a grandma technique. She used to tell you, if you are angry, if you are having some emotional outburst, what do? Count from slowly from 1 to 10, 10 to 1, reverse. So that slowly, 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 when you count, automatically there's a time lag, and you gain your time to take a good response. Sometimes we choose not to respond at all because you feel that, yeah, come on, why the hell I should respond? That's what I'm saying. When you say, when elephant walks, dogs bark, and elephant damn cares about it. So when you are emotionally intelligent, you become an elephant. Elephant is not in the weight and nothing to go in the power and strength, and whole world looks absolutely useless thing for you. So developing your emotional intelligence will allow you to
आवाज नहीं आ रही है चेतन सर आवाज
Chetan sir?
Chetan sir, award is not.
Chetan sir, it's not audible, sir.
Okay.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Dear participants, Chetan sir is having some technical glitch. I think power is not there. Maybe he'll come back in just 5 minutes or so. And please be patient.
Convenience. Yeah. Yeah. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Yes, yeah. So, this is one thing that actually makes you strong to go. And when you have this kind of thing to go and how well you talk about it to go. So when you are looking into the kind of thing which actually works, and so you are basically trying to get into a situation which actually goes in. So emotions basically create a big impact to go. For example, now I lost an internet connection to go on, so I could connect it through another source. I have three sources with me. I'm trying to reach them. Sorry for the inconvenience, but sometimes this happen. There are certain things which are beyond your control. And how do you develop that kind of thing to go, and the ability to manage the stress as it happens and remain calm throughout the chaos. Now there was a chaotic situation here because I lost the connection. No fault of mine. I do have a lot of things to go in. Things become very difficult. How do you react? If I start getting angry and shouting it to go and I lose my calm, will it help? It will not. It's better to be calm and think what can be done. So what I did, I became calm and connected another signal to go in. So look at that. That kind of thing is important. Become a kind of thing which will help you to go. You know. One second. Emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself and others, and using this awareness to manage your behavior and relationships. That's very vital. So you understand those emotions, and there should be a basis for you. So emotional intelligence, begins to develop in the earliest years. That's vital. We have all passed those stages now. All the small exchanges children have with their parents, teachers, and each other carry emotional messages. These emotional responses have a long way. That's what we say today when we talk about psychology, when we talk about things to go in. We look at the past, we look at their childhood, we look at the kind of thing when we understand what has been there, what somebody has gone through while they were a child. So that would have an impact on what they behave, how do they behave right now. So all that thing becomes a kind of a situational kind of thing to go in. But even now, we can actually control, regulate, and become emotionally intelligent. So that's what happens, End of the day, the world becomes thing to go on because IQ plus EQ is success. So start becoming, if you want to be successful, you ought to get into emotions to go on and reduce your stress, which is the most kind of thing where it actually attacks your emotional stability to go. So, when you listen with empathy to another person, you give that person the psychological air. That is vital. Stephen Bowie, beautifully said. When you listen with empathy, others, that person gets psychological space that goes in. Uh, sure, can you put your mute so that it's disturbing? You can open it when you talk. Yeah. So when you are trying to, you can switch on your video, not your audio. Yeah. So when you talk about this to go in, yeah, thank you. So when you are looking at the kind of thing to go in, tenderness and kindness are not the signs of weakness and despair. Remember, people think that kindness is, you know, a weakness. Goodness is a weakness. They're not signs of weakness and despair, but they are the manifestations of strength and resolution. The more tender you are, more kind you are, more strong you are. You know, because that's very vital. The more forgiving you are, it is your strength. You know, because when you forgive, it's the highest strength. It's our way around. Because when you are having that strength to move on, strength to forgive, that becomes a difficult, most powerful thing to go on rather than reacting. So I hope beginning today, you all start treating everyone you meet as if they're gonna be dead by tonight. Oh my God, what am I saying? Somebody said that I really liked it. When you know that a person has less time, we are all good to them. we respect them, we make their wishes fulfilled, we all do that particular thing because you know that they have less time. So extend them all the care and kindness and understanding you can muster, because your life will never be same again. So if you start treating everybody that they have less time or we have less time, today is the last day of our life. If you think on that lines, things will change. The way you react, the way you do, and will all change. Do you think so? And it goes on. So if you think that the other person is not having time to live, tomorrow is the day when he's no there. So you really treat them with love, treat them with care, treat them, understand them. That kind of feeling, if you do it every day, I think that would be a wonderful thing, and it's a beginning of a new life, a wonderful life to go in. So that's an emotional intelligence which really goes on. Now, just to get in your moods, forget the IQ, forget the EQ. What is your JQ? Jugaad quotient. That's what people are looking in Indian kind of thing to go. So when you talk about to go and I really liked it. So we are not worried about IQ, EQ and all. What is your JQ? JQ is more powerful. How to do and how do you make that jugaad for you to go in and go across? So that's one. I'll tell you one thing. In the battle of IQ, EQ and all. We used to teach IQ, then EQ, then SQ, social quotient, then spiritual quotient. Then today we talk about adversity quotient. AQ. It's an extension of your EQ. AQ. AQ talks about how do you react in an adversity. We are not taught to be reacting in an adversity. Well, that is where your emotional quotient or emotional intelligence fail. If you are not, how well you are, and how do you handle a failure? How do you handle a stressful situation? How do you handle this kind of thing is an adversity question. When you have an adversity in life, how do you handle it? That makes a biggest emotional, intelligent human. So remember, IQ, EQ, and all work. Finally, it's a AQ or a JQ which actually makes it and go across. So that works. So let us get into wellness, which is being replaced by stress. You can see that small change, our wellness becomes stressed, and that goes on. I hope I'm making some sense and the session is useful for you all. Yes, sure. I am able to see you, Sharad, and yeah.
Yes, sir.
I wish if I could see more people, it would be more beautiful. So, every morning, let the stress begin. You like it or not, our stress begins, and that's what it goes in. How many of us feel every day in the morning, get up? Oh God, one more day, one more stress. It's very tough. That kind of thing actually goes on. Or you start your day with a smile. Oh yeah, chalo, chalta hai. Let the stress begin. We are there. We are emotionally intelligent. We'll take care of the stress. How many of us feel that way? The moment alarm rings, the stress starts. Is it not? The whole thing. Yeah, I have to get up from the bed. That's a big stress. You know, stress management during COVID was very difficult. I know it's all tough. When you talk about going, people had stress is a reaction where you have excess of pressure, and other types of demands placed. And the whole stress starts when you feel that I cannot cope up. Now that's the whole stress all about. That's whole thing's going. Because when you worry that you cannot cope up, there becomes stress going. Otherwise, you really don't have stress because when you can cope up anything, you have stress. You actually do not have any stress because when you are trying to cope up and things to go in, you don't feel like there's stress to go in. We were talking about emotional intelligence. No matter how intense things get, how do you manage to keep a cool head? What are your secret? That's something which is very, very important. Earlier when I remember seeing an old movie where, somebody gets angry, immediately what they do is they take a very cold towel and put it on their head. And today we talk about Navratan, cool, thanda, thanda, cool, right? How many of you have used Navratans? Navratan tail? I'm not marketing them. Okay. Navratan, thanda, cool, cool. When you're too stressed, Amitabh Bachchan comes and says, put that onto your head. That will cool down your head. Okay. As if you're having ice cream on your head. What is the secret? Because there are many people who are very cool-headed. I know Dr. Venkatraman is a very cool-headed person. He manages things well that way to go in. So how do you do that? How is that keeping cool head in spite of everything happening around you? You really maintain that cool head and take a corrective action. That's something very, very beautiful to go on. So when you look into that, do we all know how do we manage our stress? Where is our cup of tea that we manage stress? It's very, very tough thing to say. Because stress has nothing to do with how many hours you work. It's everything to do how do you feel during these hours. That's it. But I work a lot. I really work around 18 hours a day, more than that actually many a times. And I really don't feel anything about it. Because I love doing my job. I love doing my work, whatever I do. And, need not be academic always. But when you talk about to go in, but if you are feeling strained, even a minute looks tough. If you're not happy with your work, if you're not doing too well. So it is not about number of work hours you have. How do you feel in those hours actually matter. Your emotions matter. Do you feel stressed? Do you feel relaxed? When I've been taking your session, right? You would have seen me throughout. My video is on. Do I look stressed? Do I look really relaxed? It's not easy to take a session when you are under stress, and that too to go and you're all teachers, about 100 people. That's a big stress. Don't you think so? It's a stress. But how do you handle it? How do you do? And that relaxation goes and moves across. There are a lot of people, which actually go and yes, how to delegate stress, is a big thing to go. How many of us do that? You pass on your stress to somebody, or you are a victim of it. You should know. Because when that little thing goes and the delegating stress actually is a thing which people do. Because stress occurs when the pressure is greater than the resource. It would be time pressure, it would be pressure on your time, pressure on your emotions, pressure on your resources. Anything which is there is a thing which actually goes and be patient with yourself and others. That's a tip. It's common to have number of temporary responses, stress reactions such as fear, anxiety, frustration, everything. It's possible. It's human. If you don't have that, you're not a human being. Is it not? If I tell you that don't have anger, don't have fear, don't have frustration, I am telling you to be a stone, and it's not fair. So you do have that, but how quickly you come out of it is important. That goes on. Somebody beautifully said, the signs of stress, the blood pressure and heart rate are highest when you are with your spouse and lowest when you are with your dog or the pet. That is the reason why people love to be with pets. And lockdowns have really had a tough time. To be surprised, lockdowns really created a lot of disputes, family incivilities. We'll be looking at incivility in organizations after noon, but family incivility has happened because of being together many times. That actually goes on. The overload on your head, which your heart cannot handle, you become stressed. The connection between your heart and mind dwindles when you are over stress, which actually goes on. So stress and reaction, basic reaction. What is red? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me take you back. Stress is the reaction is a basic threat. Threat and a perceived inability to cope. It's perception. Please remember, it is not true. It is a perception that I cannot handle it. If you feel that I can handle it, then what is stress? I can do it. If you have that feeling, There's nothing like it to go. And stress is a unique personal experience which is triggered by unique personal perception of the world. It's all unique for everyone, how anybody experiences, and it goes on. And one man's poison is other man's pleasure. That is an important thing to go, and somebody takes that kind of thing to go, and it goes. And reality is made for us, not by us. So, but by us, sorry, not made by for us. So when you talk about that, to go, it works and to go across. Now, what is causes stress? Work pressures. All of us have work pressure. So, do you have work pressure? Yes, absolutely. Frustrations, yes. Perception of lack of time, absolutely true. Difficulty making decisions, very true. Social pressures, of it is the biggest thing to go on. It's a big stress element. Social pressure is a big stress element. Because you are under a lot of pressure for performance, not for you, for society, for people. Low what will people say? They're all concerned about it always. Come on, people will not do anything, people will not say anything. It doesn't matter also what we will do, and the social pressures are the ones which are putting people under a lot of stress, performance, and everything to go on. So, our goal is not to eliminate the stress. Okay, I cannot eliminate, but learn how to manage it and use it to help us. You can use this stress to create energy, and that energy helps us to run to move on. So I cannot and I should not be cured of my stress. That's important. But not to enjoy it. Enjoy the stress. Once you start learning and enjoying the stress, things will change. Is stress only bad? Yeah. Question for you all.
No.
Is stress only
Not,
bad?
sir. It is not bad. Not, it is not bad every time.
Yes. So when you talk about when it is not bad, but it is also, that to go. So when you are trying to talk about the kind of stress which is there, which is not bad or which is this to go, and you basically, this is situational. So when you talk about to go, and stress is both good and bad. Good stress is called eustress, bad stress is called distress. So, good stress is something to essential for us to excel in life. Bad stress is the one which reduces the performance. So, good stress can be getting a pay hike, getting a promotion, winning a lottery. It becomes a part of your good stress, and you start loving your stress. Once you start loving your stress, things will change and things will move on. Results show that people feel stressed are 27% more likely to develop heart disease and die from heart disease. That's a big thing. So please remember, don't take stress. It's not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. So you have stressaholics, addiction to stress, decrease in productivity. It lowers your creativity and problem solving and comes into a state of burnout. It's a state of physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion caused by long-term involvement in emotionally demanding situations if you are not emotionally intelligent. That's where we started with being emotionally intelligent, and how do you reduce your stress to go. And physical effect of stress, you'll be surprised to know that 75 to 90% of all doctors visits by anyone are for stress related disorders. Stress linked to cancer, linked to diabetes, linked to breakdown in immune system, alcohol and substance abuse, cardiovascular diseases, sexual health, and anything which actually goes in and works across to go into a stress zone. And if you want to get into a stress-free zone, all of us, shall we do something to get into it? Should we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Into a stress-free zone. So what do you do now? Listen to me. Just say to yourself, relax, very slowly. Say once to yourself, relax, very slowly, very slowly. You find the difference. You'll find the difference which actually goes in and move across to go and create that social distance. Because stress and this is basically, a part of it to go in. So when you are trying to talk about things to move, that goes in now. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Open your mind and listen to your heart. Let us do it for a minute. Close your eyes. Open your mind. Listen to your heart. Very, very slowly. Do that. I'm not teaching you meditation. I'm not teaching you yoga. I'm just trying to teach you how to relax yourself and de-stress. Now close your eyes, open your mind, listen to your heart. That's the connection. We started with that heart and the mind connection. Because act before it is too late. Kill the stress before it kills you. But I've seen so many of late really pains when you see people, young people dying, 40, 45 years, who have achieved everything in their life, but still have the all but lost. Because this is what we are all doing. We are no good to others if we don't care for ourselves. The point of diminishing return. Start caring for yourself first. Once you start caring for yourself, automatically you can take care of others. When you are good, you can take care of others. That's very vital. Manage your anxiety. How do you do? Create a routine. Rationalize. That's very important. You create a routine. Once you create a routine, automatically it follows things and you don't have to rush in, and it works across one. Talk. Don't be afraid. Talk about your anxiety. Schedule something actually. So that's what happens. You have an issue. Do it. Talk to your friends who will be able to help you. Talk to people. I've read that beautiful thing. WhatsApp University sends that thing to go in behind a heart surgeon's clinic. It is written. Had you opened your heart with your friends, we should not have opened with instruments here. So that's what it goes in, and talk to things and do something. Be mindful. Find things occupy your mind. Be things that calm you down. That's very, very vital. Look at that, and that's what we're trying to see. That calm down that goes in. That's what think positive thinking is very empowering. So jump from negative to positive. Take that jump. That is very, very vital and important. Time to reach is also productive. Remember, it's okay just to relax, just to rest, and just to revive. And it's completely okay to do nothing. Sometimes I tell you that do nothing, just relax. It's okay. Other thing you're going to do and nothing happens. Just relax. That goes on. Slow down, calm, be positive, take it easy, unplug, enjoy your life, have fun, breathe, relax, go outside and meditate. That's what it goes. My doctor told me to avoid the stress, so I didn't open his bill. Because doctor's bill is a big stress element that actually goes and moves across. The major stability of the stress is the ability of people to discover their real nature. That's what we start self-awareness. Follow them. You'll never feel stressed. Once you know yourself, you'll never feel stressed to go on. The work-related stressors, the lot of work-related stressors, when you talk about to go on, to the next slide. So all your stresses result in relationships which have gone sour, poor digestion, anxiety, headaches, depression, backaches. All this problem comes in when you're stressed. Imagine yourself. Are we all in this situation? Obviously, yes. Can't do it because we are all connected. We have our own interactions, what things to avoid, actions to do in body, mindset, nutrition. Everything works in and goes across. How many are able to see that blur? Is it image visible? Is it blur?
Yes. Stress is visible, other is not blur. Other is blur.
So that's like our life. When you have stress, everything becomes blurred. Life is a blur. So remove that stress which actually goes and regulate it to go. In any of these problems you're facing, lack of exercise, lack of nutrition, lack of sleep, lack of good sense, so or physical indicators of mental stress. All of these are indicators of stress which you are going through. It could be rapid eye blinking, headache, sleep problem, dizziness, back pain, change in appetite, palpitation, fatigue, nausea, and so on and so forth. Because main causes of stress are all this, and you reduce those things to go in, because the pending, which is never ending, create a problem. So procrastination puts things under pending, and this pending never ending, and the phone is a big stressor. So stay away with that. That actually goes in. Your stress meter moves low to moderate to high. Low and moderate are good. High stress is a big problem to go in. I've been 20 hours a day. So all that leaves only for us to come back to work. So that's again a big issue to go in and go. Do not do that to move. But this is what we all want. Doctor, I'm learning how to relax. But I want to relax better and faster. I want to be on the cutting edge of relaxation. Everything you want it fast, everything you want a shortcut. That's a big stress, because you want to achieve things faster. Even the stress, you want to do it. So because stress has an impact on your body, mind, emotions, and behaviors. So get that thing out, and things will become different to move on. So believe in yourself. If somebody says you're incompetent, you are unqualified, you're idiot, it's okay. Come on, let them have their own perception. What are you worried about? Do you believe in yourself? Be yourself. That is very vital. Once you see that, you already have a big emotional strength and stress-free kind of thing to go on. And remember, there's no place like home. That's very important, and do one. And say no to stress. Always. Stress is banned. No entry of the stress into our lives. The key to stress management is knowing how to vent out the frustration. How do you do that? There's a new restaurant available. What do you do when you're stressed? This beautiful restaurant, concept restaurant, I've been there also just to see how it is. They give you an option. You can go inside for a fee and break whatever you want: cups, saucers, glass, windows, anything there, utensils, throw it off and do whatever you want to do, and so that you let out your anger. What do you do when you're angry? When you shout at somebody, once you shout, and finally you relax because your stress is gone. So here they say it's a concept restaurant where they say the de-stress, you can go there and break all the utensils, whatever you want, cups, saucers, you throw it and do it, and find a kind of thing to go that actually works, and so that's actually goes across. So top 10 stress management techniques: eat, sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep. I mean, it's possible. Do it once in a while. How many of us will do it? Do it once in a while. Eat and sleep. I do it, and sometimes I just eat, sleep, eat, sleep. That's the best way to relax. Don't think about your weight also. Nothing works. Do the balancing act. Work-life balance itself is a stress. Work-life balance is itself a stress to go in, which goes across. Now, I'll give you a stress reduction kit that's available in market. Directions. Place the kit on a firm surface. Follow the direction in the circle of the kit. Repeat the step 2 necessary and until unconscious. So what is the instruction which says bang your head? Bang your head. So when you're banging your head, automatically your stress goes off because you're putting on a firm surface. Is the way you do it? No. Or take a stress ball. It's available in the markets. Please buy this. It's not costly. Buy this when you are stressed. Anger. Vent your anger here. That goes in. Or scream room. That is there which you actually do, and you have a scream room, and that scream room will actually do it for you to go. So when you get into that room, start shouting soundproof rooms. Some companies have done this. They kept those stream rooms which are there. Which actually goes in and work across. And when you are going to have this, this kind of thing which actually goes in would be a part of it to go. So when you are looking into doing, either you do that, meditate, in the morning. I think the organizer was so nice to organize a session on yoga for you all, because that's what you control your stressors. Do that. Take a power nap. That is something which has been there. Faster technique of take a power nap. That's what happens in the screen room, which actually doesn't and takes across to go in and move across to work. How can you manage stress? Avoiding stressful situations, but I can't do it. But it's very the way to go and avoid extremes. Be realistic. That's vital, and move across. Set your priorities. Take the control of situation. Manage how stress affects you. Light low, yeah. They say in Hyderabad, lightly. That's a word which is used in Hyderabad. Light, take it light. So don't worry about it, because that's what it's going. How do you react to stress? That's what is an important thing. Person. How do you stress? Dance it out. How many of you dance, by the way? You don't tell me. Yes. Are you all there in session, or are you having your lunch?
No, sir, we are there.
Good to have it, sir.
So how many of you dance? Well, you say, sir, you only said eat and sleep, eat, sleep. So somebody already started practicing it. Eat, sleep, eat, sleep. Hope you're not doing it
No,
in my
sir,
session, right? At
actually,
least.
I have a question. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sir,
Who's this? People?
actually, I have a yes, sir. Vipul here.
हाँ बोलो.
सर
Yeah.
मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है जैसे कि जैसे मुझे कभी कभार जैसे स्ट्रेस में होता है तो आई डोंट फील एंशियस बट रेदर आई आइसोलेट माई सेल्फ फ्रॉम एवरीवन और मैं फिर उस वक्त वो चीज़ करता हूँ जैसे कि आई यूजुअली रीड मांगास और एनीमे देखने लगता हूँ तो वो चीज़ जो है ना वो बाकियों को बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लमेटिक लगती है कि व्हाई ही इज गेटिंग आइसोलेटेड फ्रॉम अस so how should I convey them that this is my way of relieving myself from a stressful situation?
See, your behavior causing them a stress. They are stressed because they feel that उनको लगता है कि this guy is getting into depression, he is getting alone, he is locking himself, he is involved in not interacting with others, and also that is causing them stress. So what you do here is you tell them very clearly, instead of showing emotions on them, instead of really taking another toll, I am trying to actually control my stress by being with myself. Minutes, few things. You tell them, okay, you talk it out. जिसको प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है उनको बताइए. That's very. Talk to them. Tell them this is what it is. It is your personality of handling things. Rather than creating troubles for somebody, you are right or yes. Hello.
I request Ms. Swati Sri to be on mute, please.
Yeah. So when you talk about going, yeah, when you are looking into the kind of thing to go, this would happen, right, people? You got it.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry about your attendance.
Yes.
Attendance is the last one we should worry, dear. Whoever it is, you know. Now when you talk about to go and it goes. So dance out if you know how to dance. That's the best way to do it. Even if you don't know a dance, get into your room, people play music and dance. That goes in. So go for a walk, talk about it to the people. That's what you should do. Take breath, deep breaths, and go to bed early. Focus on what you can control. Talk about good things to go in, and you are basically going to work across to move.
Sir, in our real life experience, when we get a stress,
Yes.
when it is higher, and we are not able to follow what are the guidelines which you have given from 1 to 10, it is not so easy to get adopted. When we go to bed earlier, we are not able to sleep. When we are not able to smile, we are not able to face the people. So these things are there. So what should be the first and foremost thing to come to our mind to get away from that?
Dear participants, I think there is a technical glitch. So we'll join back in 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, we are
So,
hearing.
yeah. So when you talk about this to go, and even if you have the issues, you should be able to basically go to bed early and try to relax. That's the first thing you should do, and do not count and do not get into things to go and which actually would create a kind of thing to go. Once you start going on a walk, once you start, it doesn't happen immediately. We start with, you basically talk to the people who are the stressors for you. Once you start talking to the people who are stressors for you, things will change. Talk to them. Think about good times. We always think about bad times. Think about good times. That's very important. Look for opportunities and challenges. All this can be practiced actually. Practically done. If you have to doing it, you can always get back to me. I'll help you particular thing which goes in works across. I'll share my which you can do and that will help out. Listen to music. That's an one. So listen to music. Whatever music you love, you listen. It can be a classic music, can be a jazz, can be even whichever is the one which you relax. That goes in. That's the best therapy. Plan your nature walks, then get into yoga, meditation. Inculcate an hobby. I do it. I really cook. Yeah, cooking is my hobby apart from reading and writing. So what I do here is I get into kitchen. When you are into kitchen, something you are absolutely relaxed, stressed out. Do that. Whichever you love, your choice is yours. Take a massage, go a spa, take
So
some
we,
therapy.
sir, we need self-direction in this.
Dennis, you saying
Yes, sir.
something?
Do we need a self-direction or self-guidelines or self-control for ourselves to get into full involvement in all these aspects?
See, self-awareness is the most important thing to start with. Once you are aware of yourself, things would change. The way you look at life changes. The way you look at situations change. The way you look at those. So self-regulation is one thing which really goes. And see, when you are happy, the whole world around you is happy. So that's very important. So you do not stress or reduce your stress. Follow any of these therapies and go in and go across. Lead a balanced life. Have some conflict resolution skills, keep the present moment awareness, and have a personal tools to go in. So this all your stress management does it and go across. And the best thing I tell you, it's just scientific. It's not English to go in. Desert is spelled backwards as de-stress. So what do you do when you are stressed? Eat dessert, chocolates, cakes, very sweet. That has a role to relax your brain muscles. The chemicals are released, serotonins and all that will make you relaxed and you become distressed. And don't eat a lot because tomorrow will come and say Chetan sir wanted us to eat a lot of sweets. We had a problem. Don't do that. Eat a bit less and that will actually help you. Take a piece of sweet and that should actually get you to go in. Simplest way to de-stress yourself. Work, play, and rest. That's very vital. So once you're doing that, things would change and go in. You equally divide your day indoor or playing video games. Work on your health. That's very vital and important to go in. So take an off. Love your jobs. That's vital. Whatever you're doing, somehow you're into it. It's okay. Love your jobs. Once you love your job, your stress is gone. That's most important to go in. Laugh more. Stressless. Join a laughing club if you're not able to laugh. I really laugh a lot. Even if you have tough times, no, a lot of things that will help you to. So positivity. So be positive. Positive has been enough all these days. Positive is the only word which was very negative all this. If somebody who says positive, I'm always been very tough. So I'm not talking about positive, I'm talking about being positive in life goes and always positive. Positive is crediting bad, not crediting everything, see good in everything. That's very vital. See good in everything. All things happen for good to go in that. So positivity develop that. Optimism will lead to and you can't. It is basically, you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That actually goes in and goes across. Think positive, that is vital, and be an optimistic. That goes. Don't think too much. Thinking also creates a problem. Don't think too much. That will be go in and work it out. When you think too much, that is also a problem. It actually goes on.
Not audible, sir.
Meanwhile, all the participants, there's the attendance link is posted in the chat box.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Dear participants, let's go for a break for lunch and join back the session at 2:30. Again, session 3 will be taken by Dr. Chetan Srivastava, sir.